So, remember when I said there was supposed to be an event? Yeah. There wasn't any. But anyways, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Before we get started on today's video, please make sure to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell so you don't miss our next uploads. And without further ado, here we go. They did release new iPads today. They did not make an event, they just updated the site. So we are going to be checking out the new iPads. Before that, we're going to check out how it compares to what we've predicted in the previous video, as well as what they have now, as well as the features that they would have today. Now, first of all, in the previous video, we talked about potentially new iPads, as well as new MacBooks and stuff. Today, it's just the iPads. They announced the 10th generation iPad, just the iPad, the iPad Pro, and oddly enough, something that I didn't expect, an Apple TV, a new Apple TV, Apple TV 4K, coming out supposedly next month. Now onto the first one that was announced today. It was the 10th generation iPad. So looking back, in the previous one, came in 64 gig and 256 gig models, silver and space gray. It came with an A14 Bionic chip, which is still pretty insane. That's something that was present on the iPhone 13s. 10.2-inch screen and all the usual accoutrement with your iPads. Now the new one, as predicted, has the similar body style as the current generation iPad Air, so kind of like a minimalized iPad Pro, as we've talked about last video. But the difference is none. There's no difference. Now onto the current generation iPad. It's also got the 10.2-inch screen. The form factor is very different. It's now kind of like the current generation iPad Air, more similar to like a miniaturized or a minimalized iPad Pro in that way, but it does not have Face ID. It still has Touch ID, and it comes in 4 different colors. Comes in silver, blue, pink, and yellow. 64 gigs to 256 gig capacity, almost the same as everything else. Touch ID is, like I said, available, and it's speakers on both sides. Now, specifically with regards to the processor, we talked about this in the last video as well. We're expecting it to be an M2. That's not true. It actually comes with an A14 Bionic, which is what you find in the iPhone 14s, which is still pretty darn solid. Probably for the reason that they want to keep the price low and kind of keep it at that entry-level price point. Now, on the plus side, you do get the Type-C, the USB Type-C port, but on kind of an awkward side, you're still using the first generation Apple Pencil, which, if you know what the Apple Pencil looks like, it requires a lightning port on the other side to charge. How does that really work? You have to use an adapter. Either that or you plug it in directly to power, to mains, which is unfortunate. So that's kind of a little awkward feature. I would have I realized they did this for cost, probably because the magnet and the charging piece for the Apple Pencil version 2 probably more expensive, and just they didn't want to put that in there. Also, this is weird and I don't really like this, but they removed the headphone jack. So now they don't have, I don't think they have an iPad that have a headphone jack now. I think the Pros might still have it. Actually, we'll check the Pro in a second, but the 10.2-inch Air, or the 10.2-inch iPad, the 10th gen, does not have a headphone jack. You have the Touch ID on the top, you got your volume rockers, your smart connector, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, and that's about it. Nothing else, which, again, for myself, I want to be able to listen to music with my IEMs. Sometimes I use my iPad to DJ, and I connect it to my controller, and I need to be able to get a headphone out for the split audio output for like a little speaker versus something else. That's not gonna work either. So yeah, what the hell? I mentioned earlier the smart connector. That's the pads underneath the edge of the iPad, and that's where you connect keyboards. And I mentioned this in the past. They carried over the Magic Keyboard, or they carried over the smart connector from the iPad Pro first gen. It's the 3 little dots that you connect to the bottom side of your iPad, which allows you to connect keyboards. So I mentioned this in the past. as expected. It's not the same connectors that are on the Pros, which are the 3 dots that are on the back side of the unit. It's actually on the edge, and you basically have to prop it up on whatever device that is. I use it quite a bit when I had my iPad Air 3rd Gen. I used to use it quite a bit for a keyboard trackpad combo that Logitech had. Now onto the Pro. The Pro, as mentioned, will be running the M2 chip. Beyond that, there's really not much else that's really changed in the body style. It's the same one that we've had in the past. Still has the connectors at the back, or at the back, that allows you to do this. But look at this. So we're gonna scroll down. We're gonna scroll through. But look at this. We're gonna scroll through the iPad Pro product page. We have the M2 chip at the top there. Obviously, astonishing performance, incredibly advanced displays, yada yada yada. So translation, it's a new thing. Cool display, cool pencil features. And iPad OS 14 or 16 available starting October 26th. Okay. So we have the M2 chip as expected, the next generation of the M CPUs. The M2 chip, the 8 cores, with an 8-core CPU that delivers up to 15% faster performance and a 10-core GPU that provides up to 35% faster graphics performance. But look at this. If you scroll down a little more, you see DaVinci Resolve on the screenshot here. Interesting. Now let's read up on this. A complete movie studio in your hands. The high-performance media engine on the M2 accelerates ProRes encode and decode. You can convert video projects. That actually in itself is a really good feature. As is, I'm a Resolve editor. Everything you see from this channel in the last year has been done on Resolve because Premiere is very expensive. This is insane. I believe the display stayed the same. Mini LED display. Cameras. We have the wide and ultra wide camera and a LiDAR sensor. So again, if you're one of those people who uses their iPad to shoot, sure. I don't particularly like to talk about cameras on iPads just because it's not something that people really use often, right? So it's not something that would, unless you're the auntie that has the big iPad in their kid's recital or something like that. That's not something that I would, it's not typically something that I see, and I would expect not something that with my audience would really do. As far as networking is concerned, we have Wi-Fi 6E and 5G. Obviously, if you get the cellular model, if not, you just Wi-Fi 6E. Pretty impressive there. And as far as accessories are concerned, we are still seeing the Magic Keyboard and the Apple Pencil 2nd generation. There's no change in that regard. It's still the same as the past iPads. And that's about it for the iPads. There's something that's surprising that we didn't really expect, which was the Apple TV 4K. Let's take a look at that really quickly. We're gonna gloss over this because I don't particularly use Apple TV anyways. But for some people it might matter. Apple TV is available November 4th. There's 2 types of Apple TV coming down the pipe. We have the 4K with Wi-Fi and the 4K with Wi-Fi and Ethernet. Obviously, the other one has Ethernet than the other. However, the Ethernet one actually has Thread support. So if you have a smart home or planning to build a smart home, Thread is actually something that you may want to look into. Thread is one of the technologies that are being pushed by Matter. Without really getting any further, it's more of a decentralized approach on smart home and less reliant on cloud. A lot of it's being done in the local network. It's running the A14 Bionic, which is awesome. And that's it. There's nothing much else to see here. And I think that about wraps it up for this video, guys. So thank you so much for coming by. I will see you all soon, and we'll catch you on the next video. And if you like this video, obviously make sure to hit that like, subscribe down there. Surprisingly enough, like videos about Apple gear get a lot more views on this channel, even though this channel started as a gaming channel. We'll take it. I'm trying to figure out what kind of content we should put on this channel. So if you have any ideas, or should we focus on more Apple stuff, or should we do more PC stuff or gaming stuff, or creative stuff, because I did start this as well with some sort of creative mindset in mind, teaching how to do video editing and photography and whatnot. If that's the case, leave a comment, let me know. I'd be interested to see what you think. And with that being said, thank you so much for coming by, and we are off. Thank you. Have a good one. Laters.